It is Wednesday, which means we have a very special Korean master here in the studio, Karl Wayne. Hello.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 권민규라고 하고요. 한국 이름은 권민규이고요.
네.
My English name is Karl Wayne. Yes.
권민규.
네, 권민규입니다.
어떻게 정했어요?
저는 한국어를 공부한 지 이제 한 7년 정도 됐는데
How?
처음에는 펜팔이 있었거든요. So my pen pal asked me like, do you have a Korean name? And I was like, no, I don't. And I was like, do you want one? I'm like, sure. So she gave me the name Mingyu. And then Kwon, I chose myself because do you know the 가수 보아?
Yes.
보아는 권씨거든요.
아하.
근데 저도 보아를 너무 존경해가지고 저도 보아처럼 그렇게 대단한 분이 되고 싶다는
와우.
생각에서 권씨를 선택한 거예요.
와우. 진짜 순간 진짜 깜짝 놀랐어요. I did not know that you spoke such well Korean.
Oh, thank you.
방송 전 그냥 뭐 hi, hello 정도 인사만 하고 영어로 그냥 간단한 대화를 했었는데 와우.
감사합니다.
대단합니다. So 7년 동안 공부를 했었는데 이제 한국에 온 지는 4년밖에 안 됐다며요.
엄밀히 말하면 4년이고요. 그
Okay.
전에도 9개월 동안 그 서울대 어학당 다니면서 한국에서 좀 맛보기라고 해야 하나? Yeah, so I did a little bit of, the 맛보기, and then I went back to America, made some money,
Yes.
and then came back for college. So,
Wow. And so you're studying here in Korea.
yes, 한국 외국어대학교 지금 4학년 마지막 학기.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, we do, of course, have a lot of Americans here in Korea, and we also have a lot of Koreans in America as well. And I feel like people like you are really acting as the bridge between the two countries, and that's why we do have a quiz for our listeners. 오늘의 퀴즈입니다. 윤여정이 주연으로 출연하는 북미 지역 26관 왕을 차지한 영화의 제목은 무엇일까요? 답을 아시는 분들은 유료 문자 샵 1013으로 단문 50원, 장문 100원 유료 문자 보내주시면 추첨을 통해서 커피 쿠폰 드리겠습니다. Now, speaking of movies, now you came to Korea to, get into the entertainment business.
That is correct. 이제 와서 말하기가 좀 쑥스럽지만 when I first came to Korea, I was like, oh, I want to be an idol. 예, 고등학교 때 저는 친구들이 많이 없어가지고 이제 뭔가 그 공백을 K-팝으로 메꾼 거예요.
Oh.
So, just I watched so much K-pop. I'm like, oh, I really want to be cool like that. I really want to become like that. Especially some of my influences were EXO. I liked EXO a lot, and also 21.
아, 그렇죠.
21, right.
That's right.
2세대 아이돌이면 웬만하면 다 잘 알고 있어요.
Wow.
그래서 그렇게 한국에 오게 된 거죠. 처음에도 어학당 다니면서 이제 한국에 와서 그 학원까지 그 아이돌 준비 학원까지 다녔어요.
Oh, 진짜요?
네.
How was that experience like? Of course, anybody who goes into that, it's just, a different world. 그런데 그러니까 미국인으로서 한국으로 들어왔는데 이제 처음 약간 접하는 게 그냥 사회생활이 아니라 이 아이돌 준비할 수 있는 그런 학원까지 들어갔는데.
Right. 처음에는 되게 떨려서요. 왜냐면 그 전에는 솔직히 노래도 그렇게 잘하는 것도 아니었고 춤도 그렇게 잘하지 못했고 솔직히 살 많이 쪘어요. 처음 꿈을 가질 때 170kg에서 한 70kg 빼가지고 네, 엄청 큰 그런 거 있었는데 그래서 이제 학원 다녀서 아직 좀 자신감 없고 다른 애들 보니까 다 너무 잘하고
Right.
나만 못하는 것 같고
Right.
한국어도 제대로 못하고 그래서 막 괜히 왔나 싶기도 했는데 그 9개월 동안 꾸준히 다니면서 오디션도 몇 번 보고 진짜 이제 아침에 어학당 다니는 시간 외에는 like just always practicing. Right? Like I'd be in the 연습실 until like 11, like
Just
midnight.
live and breathe all
Like I even moved closer to the 연습실 so that I could, practice more. But I never made it into the like a company or anything.
Okay.
소속사를 못 찾아가지고 그래서 미국에 다시 간 거고. So I mean, like, I feel like it was a very good experience though.
Sure.
Kind of like, before really getting into the entertainment business, just kind of like, this is what it's going to be like. You're going to be in constant competition with everybody. So I feel like that was a very good experience for me.
Sure. I think, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise. There's plenty of people who, are always in the middle, in between, these stages. And if you're stuck in this company, then you've got, the contract of 7 years, 5 years, whatever that may be.
Right.
그래서 안 들어간 게 오히려 더 나은 것 같아요.
네, 그렇죠. 그리고 이제 얘기 들어보니까 아이돌로 데뷔했는데 성공하지 못하면 그
그렇죠.
연습생 그 생활하는 동안 진 빚이라든가 like that debt, I gotta pay that back.
Right.
You gotta pay that back. 그래서 오히려 안 된 게 저도 이제 hindsight is 2020, right? Like
That's
이제
right.
와서 되게 다행스럽지만
맞아요.
그 당시에는 기죽고
그쵸.
뭔가 나만 못하는 것 같고 막 이런 거 있었죠.
막막하죠.
네, 그렇죠.
I understand. We're at a loss. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure, there's so many things that could have gone better, but there's also so many things that could have gone way worse.
So much worse, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, we were talking about barbecue and meat, and, you've been here for give or take almost 5 years,
5 years, yeah.
around that time. You must have had some sort of impression about Korea's food. Barbecue, gogi!
Right. One impression that I get about Korean food, though, is Koreans think that Korean food is a lot spicier than it actually is.
아하.
Or maybe 그 외국인이라서 좀 덜 맵게 해주는 건지 모르겠는데
그럴 수도 있어요.
뭔가 그렇게 매운 것 같지 않고 근데 되게 맛있게 매운 그런
맞아요.
거.
This is what we call 기분 좋게 맵다.
그렇죠.
Yeah, 기분 나쁘게 매우면 이제 속까지 매우고
그러니까 막,
혀도 맵고 아프고 막 그러는데
그렇죠.
한국 고추는 기분 좋게.
고추장. Oh,
That's 고추장.
need that gochujang. Oh, love it, honey.
Is it something that you bring home as well?
I think
Would you bring 이제 이제 집에 가는 길인데 이제 미국으로 다시 들어가고 싶은데 이제 가족들이 있기 때문에 고추장 한 통 갖고 들어갈 생각이 있나요?
고추장 지금은
introduce?
있어요. 처음에는 요리에 관심 없었는데 이제 자취를 최근에 시작했거든요.
Oh,
그래서 이제
congratulations.
요리도 조금씩 하고. Thank you.
Oh,
So like starting to cook and stuff, and so I'm like, this is something that I kind of want to bring back to America if I ever get the chance.
yes.
I haven't
Who
been
knows?
in who knows how long, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I think you're from Minnesota.
Yes.
From Minneapolis, or
About an hour south,
Okay.
a little town called Zumbrota.
are there any Koreans there, or I'm wondering how you got introduced to K-pop in the first place too.
Well, there weren't really any Koreans in my hometown. 그 유튜브에, do you know React?
React 몰라요.
There's a channel called the Fine Brothers, and they have this React channel. And their very first show was Kids React. And on Kids React, they showed these children K-pop music videos. And I watched that episode of that, and I was like, 첫눈에 반했어요.
아 진짜요?
완전 그 전에도 뭔가 막연하게 동아시아에 대한 관심은 있었는데 그 K-pop 이게 저 화려한 거 좋아하거든요. 근데 K-pop은 바로 그거잖아요. 화려함.
맞아요. 무대도 화려고
그냥 뮤비도 그러고
맞아요.
그냥 다 완전 그냥 다 화려하고 그러니까 완전 반했고 그래서 고등학교 1학년 때 그렇게 빠져가지고
네.
졸업할 때는 이제 막 안 되겠다 한국에 가야겠다 싶어서 그렇게 4년 동안 그래서 한국 오기 전에도 독학으로 한국어를
My
했거든요.
goodness. Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you are just joining us now, we are talking here with Karl Wayne from Minnesota. Been here for give or take 5 years and is a pro, actually, in life, I would say. But we do have a quiz for our listeners as well. 오늘의 2부 퀴즈, 윤여정이 이 주연으로 출연한 북미 지역 26관 왕을 차지한 영화의 제목은 무엇일까요? 정답을 아시는 분들은 유료 문자샵 1013, 단문 50원, 장문 100원 보내주시면 추첨을 통해서 커피 쿠폰 드리겠습니다. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about even your background as well. You said that your grandfather, now this is an interesting tidbit, your grandfather actually has been in Korea on very different terms.
Yes, he did. He is a veteran of the Korean War.
한국 전쟁에
네, 6.25 전쟁
6.25
참전하셨죠. 네.
Wow, that's very interesting.
네, 사실 그거 관련해서 최근에 SBS에서 다큐멘터리 찍었거든요. 그래서 사실 처음에 한국에 왔을 때는 할아버지가 뭐 거기에 뭐가 있다고 한국에 가는 거야? 뭔가
그쵸.
이런 식으로 like my grandpa was a bit confused at first, but he's very warmed up to the idea. And actually, I've been receiving a scholarship
Okay.
thanks to his service in the war there.
Wow.
So it actually, 70 years later, finally 보람을 보는 거죠.
그렇죠. Well, that's amazing. Now, also in America, we call it the Forgotten War.
Right. Yeah.
Many people don't know much about the Korean War, or even if it actually happened. We don't learn about it in history books
we
as
don't.
much as we should and do with other wars. But do you have any like stories that he would tell you? Or
No, I don't think that he really enjoyed reminiscing about his days in Korea. You know, away from your family. He was like 21, like very young. So, you know, away from your family in a place that you can't speak the language. You're in the middle of a war.
right.
So, yeah, he wouldn't really speak much.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating that, 2 generations later, his grandson is now, coming to Korea, living and breathing, the culture and...
Yeah, and it's something that I didn't really think about a lot at first. It's just like, full-ride scholarship, K-득, it's just kind of like that. But then the more I'm here, I've done interviews and 아까 말했던 그 다큐멘터리는
네.
그 민통선이라고 up by the DMZ there are 그 안에 있는 마을들이 있어요. 그래서 그 마을들을 여행하면서 거기 사시는 노인분들이랑 대화하고
Wow.
a lot of people who experienced the war firsthand because they were right on the front lines, And so it's 할아버지 아니었다면 나 이런
그렇죠.
경험도 못하고
그렇죠.
이런 분들을 못 만나고
맞아요.
그래서 이제 좀 더 알아야 될 것 같아요. 뭔가 좀 더 공부하고 이래야 될 것 같아요.
Yeah, 이제 할아버님 때문에 you're able to 뜻깊은 경험들도 많이
그렇죠.
할 수도 있고 또 정말 things that you never would have imagined
그렇죠.
you're able to do, which is quite amazing. And want to know also how you learned Korean so fast. You went to the 어학당. Was it difficult? I'm sure it was. Was there a specific type of training that you decided to do, or did K-pop actually really help you with learning the lyrics? Or
I think K-pop은 무엇보다도 가사보다도 그냥 동기가 되는 거라서 I always feel no matter what language you learn, the most important thing is your 동기. Your motivation for learning the language. Because if that's not there, then you're not going to put in the work. Because learning a language 진짜 많이 노력해야 되잖아요. 그래서 그런 면에서 K-pop 좀 동기가 됐고 너무 오래전 일이어가지고 어떻게 공부했지? 뭔가 이제 생각 안 났는데 저 라디오도 많이 들었던 것 같아요. The thing with radio,
어려운데?
the thing with radio, I didn't learn it. I didn't listen to it to hear the words. I listened to it for the cadence and the rhythm.
어떻게 올라가나 내려가나 그 intonation이라고 해야 되나요?
네, 그래서 그런지 이제 되게 많이 듣는 칭찬은 이제 억양이 되게 자연스럽다고
맞아요.
다른 외국인에 비해서.
맞아요.
그거는 되게 자랑스럽게 생각하고 있고.
Of course.
네, 발음에 신경을 많이 썼고 그리고 그냥 문장을 통째로 많이 외웠던 것 같아요.
Okay.
그 문장들은 가사도 많이 따오고 아니면 드라마를 보면서 따오고 아니면 인터넷 기사. 그 친구들이랑 대화하면서 그러니까 톡 같은 거 많이 하고.
그렇죠.
그래서 그렇게 1년 반 동안 독학하면서 어학당 들어갈 때는 벌써 4급이었어요.
Wow.
Yeah. So about a year and a half. It took me about a year and a half to get to level 4-ish.
And would that usually take 4 years? Is it a level per year?
If you're at the 어학당 itself, you should be able to do that within about 1 year.
Okay.
But I was learning on my own
Okay.
in America while I was working.
There you go.
Yeah.
Saving time,
Yeah.
saving energy, saving money.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of dramas, I mean, you started, with the thought of being an idol and pursued that dream and decided, maybe I can go into acting. And so 연기 쪽으로 이제 들어가는데 you've been in a few projects as well.
I have. 일단 그 연기를 하고 싶어진 이유는 저 뮤지컬 보고 한국에서 엘리자베스
와우.
그 뮤지컬 보고
Uh-huh.
그거 너무 화려하고 내가 바라는 그 모든 것이었기 때문에 그래서 그거 보고 바로 연극 동아리에 들어갔어요. 그 연극 동아리에 들어가가지고 처음으로 연기로 한 거는 I was in a play, 12 Angry Men.
Okay.
We did the Korean version of that. And we did that 2 years ago, I think it was.
Okay. This is separate from your school. It wasn't like a school.
It was my school.
Oh,
yeah.
it was your school production.
중앙 동아리.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in that, and luckily that play had a foreigner role already made.
그쵸.
So it's like, typecast, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then other than that, 이제 작년에는 코로나 때문에 연극을 올리지 못하고 대신 연극을 준비해가지고 이제 녹음해서 녹음 아니고 촬영 촬영해가지고 그렇게 한 거고 그 외에도 이제 영화도 이제 학생 필름도 찍었고 독립 영화도 찍었고.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think there's lots of people who have these dreams and they have these just fantasies. But I think for you, it's about making your dreams a reality. And I feel like I'm so inspired just by hearing your story.
Yeah, I mean, I really try because what else am I going to do? I came to Korea and I want to stay here and just,
그쵸.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, the 무기. It's all about the motivation. Now, you said you've been in a number of works. You've been in a short film, a student film as well. And I heard that you were in a short film that you really went into the character and you had to cut your hair very short for the role.
Yes, this is actually 머리가 많이 기른 거예요.
아,
지금.
진짜요?
네.
삭발?
아예 삭발했어요. 왜냐하면
really?
이제 스님 역할 했거든요. 한국에 스님 역할 해가지고 삭발하고 근데 처음에는 이제 삭발하는 거는 되게 좀 I was a bit nervous at first. Am I going to look good bald?
그렇죠.
It turned out better than I thought. And the role
생각보다 나쁘지 않았어요.
생각보다 잘생기더라. 근데 the role was I don't know if I'll ever be able to play a role like that again.
Okay.
I don't think there will be one. I don't want to miss this, So 사실 하고 근데 그 후로는 일이 잘 안 들어오더라고.
왜요?
모델이나 이런 거는
네네네.
그래서 다시 길러야 될 것 같은데 되게 좋은 경험이었던 것 같고.
그렇죠. Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, being quite dedicated to a character. Was it the first time you've shaved your head?
I did once in high school because we had a lice outbreak at our school. But other than that,
That was just,
yeah,
what
that's
gotta
a
do.
different thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, what kind of projects do you plan on being a part of in the future? 앞으로 어떤 활동을 하고 싶으신가요?
일단 지금 계획하는 거는 MBC랑 같이 계획 중인 거 있고
Okay.
유튜브 콘텐츠 하고 있고.
Wow.
I'm thinking about starting my own YouTube channel here in Korea. I don't know, kind of been going back and forth on that.
응원해드리겠습니다.
아유, 감사합니다.
Yes, for sure.
감사하죠. 그 외에는 이제 졸업하면 이제 에이전시나 소속사를 찾아서 좀 본격적으로 연기 쪽으로 한번 해보려고요.
Yeah.
이제 그거 무대든 영화든 드라마든. If I could choose one project that I would want to make, I want to be in a horror film.
A horror?
Yes, I want to be in
공포 영화?
Yes, 공포. 뭔가 that psychological horror thriller, that kind of thing.
심리적인.
Yeah. Have you seen 유전?
No, I haven't. 저는 진짜 마음이 약해가지고.
아이고 어떡해.
Yeah, even the Korean films here are amazing, but 진짜 좋은 영화들은 많이 어둡더라고요.
그쵸. 그런 우울한 감이 있긴 하죠.
Yes. And so it's a bit dark for me, but I mean, there are fanatics about Korean film and the dark horrors. And the scariest one, I would say, is 악마를 보았다.
그쵸.
Oldboy.
올드보이
거기까지예요. And those are, pretty old films, but I've never.
그쵸.
Yeah. But 응원해드리겠습니다. 진짜
감사합니다.
행운을 빕니다. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. Time really did fly.